Hey guys, I'm Rix here, and today I'm coming back at you with another haul video, and today we're going to be looking at a new company that has come on the market that goes by the name of Brick Memoirs. So essentially, I think that what this company is attempting to do or trying to do is create minifigures from conflicts, from wars, and from time periods that aren't really touched much by other companies. And I think that that's really where they're focusing. Their first release centered around the Spanish-American War, and then also some factions from World War II that weren't covered very much, like, I believe, the Italians. But as you can see in front of you, I don't have any World War II figures that I got. I actually only got figures from the Spanish-American War, and even more specifically, I only got American figures from the Spanish-American War. So why don't I get these guys all out of their packaging, and then you guys can go ahead and take a peek at them. Okay, welcome back. And so as you can see, I've now taken them all out of their packaging. Each one of them is actually individually packed, which I think is very nice because it provides a little bit more cushioning and protection during shipping, but it does require a lot of unpackaging once you actually receive the product. So it actually took me a couple minutes to get all of these guys out. But why don't we start with some of the most generic, I guess is the wrong word to say it, but the most general figures. So if you go ahead and take a peek at this fella right here, and actually I'm going to zoom in so that you guys get a better look. Okay, we're back. So as you can see now, we're zoomed in on this figure, and what you can see first of all is that I actually got one of the heads that they created, and this wasn't really because I need a lot of heads. I do need heads, but I thought that it would be nice to try out a new company's heads for a change, essentially. I essentially only have Minifig Co. heads that I outfit all of my minifigures with because I think that TMC really creates the best types of heads. Now, I might consider getting some from Citizen Brick or somewhere like that, but I still think that TMC really is the best. And now, as you can see looking at this head, if we can get it to focus, it's just kind of like an angry figure with, a nice little stubble around the bottom side of the head. So, a nice little thing, nothing very big in that, it's just a head. But moving on to the body, as I said, all of these guys are from the Spanish-American War, and I believe that specifically the uniform that they're wearing is from 1878. Now, I'm not entirely 100% sure, and I'm sure that there's going to be someone who corrects me on the date that the uniform is based on, but I believe it's from somewhere around then. So as you can see, this guy would have a bunch of bullets. You can see on his belt right here, if I point it out, that would be loaded into what I believe would be a breech-loaded weapon. So, a higher rate of fire than a traditional musket, but still not quite to the age of World War I, where, you had the lever action stuff. But as you can see, on the front, he has those bullets on the bottom, and then he has two straps going across the chest, along with two pockets, and then, of course, the exposed, I believe that it's meant to be his exposed chest in the top. And then if you turn to the sides, what you can see is that there's just some, I don't know if you guys can see it very well, but there's some slight black detailing that essentially just shows creasing in the shirt. And then if I bend him over a little bit, what you guys can see here is that we have a US knapsack, and then he also has a canteen as well, along with those straps going around, and the bullet belt wrapping around as well. And if you guys wanted to know, yes, it is 360 degrees printed, as you guys can clearly see. Beyond that, he also has some boots and also kind of, I don't know if they're stirrups. I don't know if the white lines would be stirrups. I think that those are just lines on the pants. But, a lot of details goes into each of these figures. And I think that the amount of detail that this company has made in this first release definitely rivals some other ones. And it's, it's nothing to scoff at. So if you guys are wondering what this figure, should I say, specifically is, this is the private figure. Now, moving on from him, why don't we go for something a little different? Here we have the officer figure, and as you guys can see on the front, he has a pistol pouch, and then he has the two shoulder pads where, his rank would be displayed. It's very similar to how ranks were displayed in the Civil War. And then, of course, he has the rest of his jacket just going down, and then a nice, snazzy-looking belt. You move to the side, his belt continues around, and then, of course, I didn't mention, but he has the same boots and same pants as the private. We move to the back. He has what I believe is just like a little cartridge pouch for his pistol, and then the belt, of course, is continuing all around. His arms have that very similar just look of, little folds on the sides. And other than that, there isn't anything super substantial about this figure. I needed to get an officer, just because if I was going to get these figures, I would need somebody to command them. So I just got one of these. It wouldn't really make sense for me to get more than one because I wasn't going to get a ton of these figures just generally. So next, what we're going to have is the NCO figure, or the non-commissioned officer figure. And what we have right here, you can see a very similar, I think it's actually exactly the same on the front as the private figure. And then we move to the sides, we can see the bullets continue around, but we can see something different. If I put the arms down, what you'll notice is that he actually has his NCO rank. I believe that this would be a sergeant rank. So, prominently displayed on his arm for all to see. And then he has that canteen, he has that knapsack, and of course the straps. And then we turn it around to the side again, and he has that same NCO rank. We get back to the front, he has those same boots, he has the same, lines going down the side of his pants. So all in all, a cool figure. I'm glad that I got these because I think that this is a very unique era that really nobody is going to touch other than this Brick Memoirs company. So I think that it's very nice that they're, kind of taking something new and running with it. So why don't we look at next, we have some corporal figures. So of course, if I got some privates and I got some non-commissioned officers and I got an officer, I might as well have gotten some corporals as well. So what you can see here is this guy is actually quite a bit different. He has suspenders running across the front of his body. And then of course he has those same crisscrossing straps across the front, as you can see. And then he has those bullets along his belt. He also has those same boots on the bottom in the yellow. But then of course, if you turn to the side, he has 2 chevrons for corporal, of course, signifying his rank. Continuing around, he has, of course, the straps from everything on his front, which is including the brown straps, and it's also including the suspenders are coming over to the back, and then they're holding up a knapsack and a canteen. And we turn it again to the side, we can see more chevrons representing corporal, and of course, his chest is also shown. So I think that I ended up getting 2 of these figures because that felt most appropriate. I think that I got 1 NCO, I got 2 corporals, and 4 privates. I think that was the distribution. But the final figure, and you guys might have been able to see it, but is this medic figure. So as you guys can see, quite obviously, he has a different look on the front of the body. He has that cross-body pouch, which of course is white, signifying his role as a medic on the battlefield for anybody else to recognize. As you can see as well, he also has a brown strap headed across his body. He has all of the appropriate straps, if I lift up his arm, continuing around the body, as you guys can see. And then across the back, all he has is a canteen. He doesn't have that knapsack, which I'm going to guess is a cartridge pouch or an ammo pouch or something of the like that, the other infantry types have. That's going to be my best guess, but someone can feel free to correct me. And then, of course, if we get to the left side of his body, on his left arm, he has a medic armband, just to signify what his job is on the battlefield. So those were all of the figures that I got. And I think that whenever I review a new company, I do have to give them, an appropriate rating or an appropriate opinion, just kind of grading them and how they did. I think that Brick Memoirs really knocks out of the park in terms of creating a product that nobody else has created. They're not repeating the same World War II, the same modern, the same historical figures that we see from everybody. And I think that's both novel and very great to see. It's great to see someone who is willing to go out on a limb and create figures from a topic area that they're not entirely sure will sell well, but they know that haven't been done before. And I think that that's really what Brick Memoirs has done here. I'm excited to see it. Hopefully the community continues to support them as they supported the first release, and we'll be able to see some really unique things coming out in the future. In terms of the actual designs on these figures, I feel like they're pretty solid. I think that the only thing that I was missing on some of these figures was having a little bit more designing on the arms of figures other than ranks. It would have been nice to see maybe like a cuff or some, other ruffling. I know that they did some small lines to represent ruffling of the shirts, but it would have been nice to see a cuff or something similar, just kind of to signify the edge of the shirt. That's a very small detail. I don't think that's really something to nitpick. The designs overall were great. Now, I do believe that these were printed by Fig Fab Labs, which is also where I got my Civil War commission. And I think that the only thing about Fig Fab Labs that I think sometimes can be on the downside is that sometimes their products take long to ship. Not if they're commissioned, but sometimes the regular products that you buy can take long to ship. So it is nice that Brick Memoirs is commissioning all of these and getting them shipped to him so that they can be shipped out immediately. Now, speaking about shipping, Brick Memoirs does have great shipping. I think that it took about 4 days for my order to be fulfilled. I actually had two orders that he combined, and it got to me quite quickly, which, is different from some other companies that will remain unnamed. And it's great to see a small company with dozens of orders immediately shipping out stuff and getting it sent out on time. It's very promising, and I think that it bodes well for their future. Other than that, I don't really think that I have anything else to add to this. I will put a pinned comment below linking to their website if you guys want to check out any of this stuff that they currently have. I encourage you guys to go check it out, even if you're not going to buy, because they do have some interesting stuff and you might learn something about a conflict you've never heard of. But other than that, I don't think that there's really anything else to add. So as always, guys, like, comment, subscribe, do all the normal stuff, and I'll catch you next time.